Kathy and Kitty here to say pop culture fun in every way. Music, TV, movies, oh so bright. Join us for a blast tonight. Sister and brother rocking the flow, sharing all the things you need to know. Kathy and Kitty always in the mix. Pop culture fun fix to fix. Pop culture kids podcast crew. Tune in and let the topics move. Kathy and Kitty make it fun. Pop culture talk for everyone. It's for everyone. I brought some for everyone. Pop culture kids podcast crew. Tune in and let the topics move. Kathy and Kitty make it fun. Pop culture talk for everyone.
It's Saturday night
Time for your weekly dose of pop culture.
with Kathy and Kenny. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. It is Sunday night, not Saturday night, Sunday night. And we are Kathy and Kenny, pop culture kids, coming to you from the North and the South. Me from North Carolina, Kenny from South Jersey. How are you today, my brother? And may the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you too. I have on my Star Wars shirt that I've gotten a few compliments from when I was out today. I was in ShopRite and this guy was shopping and he's like, "Oh, that shirt is appropriate for today." And then the guy who took my cart was like, "Oh, I like your shirt." And the grandkids like the shirt too.
I saw the pictures with your grandkids. They were so cute, putting dinosaurs and plastic monsters on your top of your head.
Yes. I like to do that. They like to do that. Hey, tech troublemaker. Hey, Lisa. How you guys doing?
Look at the comments as I changed the windows around on my eCam setup, so I'm going to be fumbling today. I know I am. May the 4th be with you. Hey, Lisa.
We will get through this together.
We'll get through it.
But remember, we
I know.
only have an hour.
Only have an hour. All right. We'll get through it.
Okay. So I want to start off with something new. I didn't put in the notes, but
Oh wait,
I
so
saw-
we had almost 30 minutes of pre-show before we went in.
I know, and I
And
totally
you didn't say
forgot.
anything about starting something new.
Yeah, it's my bad. I did say something. I did say because I saw Thunderbolts.
Okay.
I will give that a 9 out of 10.
So before we even start the show, you're going to kick it off with your Thunderbolts review.
Yeah, because we got a lot to do today, and I want to let you know, Thunderbolts is a movie, is a Marvel movie worth seeing. 2 post-credit scenes. Make sure you stay for both the post-credit scenes. They are very much worth it. Well, the first one's not so much, but the second one is a doozy. There are a couple of things that this movie set up that I was not. That I looked at me. I went to go see it with George. I looked at George. I go, I was not prepared for that. That was not in my mind of thinking of something that they would do. I was not prepared for that. So I like when I go see a movie and something, especially a superhero movie, and something happens and I go, I wasn't prepared for that. So It was a very good. I guarantee, if you like superhero movies, you like Marvel, go see Thunderbolts.
Now, do you have to? Is there a specific um, Marvel movie you would have to have seen in order to appreciate Thunderbolts? Like, is there a prerequisite movie that you need to see, or something you need to
Well,
see before it?
well, Black Widow, the Black Widow movie would be good to see.
Oh, I thought that
Anything
was really
involving the Winter
bad.
Soldier, it was bad.
But you should
I'm not
watch
even
the
gonna
Black
lie.
Widow movie
Yeah, the
first.
Black Widow movie, the second Ant Man movie,
Uh oh, the quantum. Okay, yeah, I did see the second Ant
not
Man
the
movie.
Quantum one, but the one before that.
Oh,
The second, the one where he got out of jail and everything. We was put on house arrest and he got off of house arrest and everything. The second one.
well, how many
And
Ant
yeah,
Man movies were there? I thought there were only
three,
there were three.
three. Yeah,
Oh, okay,
Ant Man and the Wasp, and Ant Man Quantum Mania.
okay, all right. So you need to see the second Ant Man movie and Black Widow, and you'll
And
be
Black
set for
Widow. And
Thunderbolts.
anything. Oh, and it would help if you saw uh, uh, the Falcon and Winter Soldier series on Disney Plus.
Okay, Falcon and the Winter Soldier series.
Yeah,
So
on
Roy
Disney
is
Plus.
saying,
Yeah.
and that's the Tech Troublemaker. I like the Black Widow movie, and so again, I just know it didn't do great box office, and
Yeah,
people
you
didn't
know
seem
what?
to
Tech
love it.
Troublemaker, you, and the other 3 or 4 people that liked it could probably form a club.
That's mean.
Because I didn't even like, look, I love Marvel movies. I didn't even like it. It didn't have a purpose to, like, there's so much more they could have did with that movie. And it
Mm.
just didn't. I see now, in hindsight, I see why they did that movie, because that movie set up a lot for this movie.
Oh, okay.
It set up a lot for this movie. So there is a payoff to Black Widow movie. What was that? 3 years ago? Yeah, 3 years down the line, 3, 4 years down the line, there is a payoff.
Now I thought you might have gone to see Sinners because I know a lot of
I
people,
want to see Sinners. I might see that next week. I've been wanting to
but
see
it's
it. My
supposed to be
time is kind of.
scary, and I don't do scary too well. But
Me neither, but I'm gonna go. I'm planning on seeing that Saturday after I
okay,
get done this event that I'm doing and helping a friend of mine with a Camden youth program. They need some performers, and he said, "Kenny, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I guess I'm doing something with you." So we're doing that to help the kids out in Camden, and after that, I might go see Sinners with Olivia.
okay. All right, sounds
So I'll
good.
be
Hey,
able to tell you
before we
next
go to
week when
pop
I take
culture news, let's just jet back to the comments real quick and check them out as I figure out my new screens. I like Scarlett Johansson, so that probably influenced that. So yeah, definitely. And again, I mean, she's okay. I don't know whether I've seen her in anything that has really made me go, "Wow, she's got chops." You know, I mean,
Wow.
what is that a diss? That's not a
Yeah, that's
diss.
kind of like a dish. You're saying there's nothing she's been in that made you say, "Oh, okay."
I haven't seen that role. Now I did like
Really?
her in the movie Her, but it was just like her voice. But in that movie, it was good. It was okay. But I really haven't seen her in a standout role. Oh, you know what? You're right.
What?
Lost in Translation, maybe,
I've never seen that one.
maybe with Bill Murray and okay, but still, I mean,
Well, superhero movies aren't known for the best acting in the world.
well, and
Sadly,
even
because there's
no,
some good
I think
acting
she
in
had good
superhero movies.
turns in
They're,
like the
they're not
Avenger
known.
movies. I think she did some good work in those Avenger movies. But again, it wasn't, and I think Gail Gadot or whatever. I thought
Yeah,
she was
Gail
an
Gadot
excellent
as Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman. I work with children. Anyway, she just had some great like. throwaway lines. And I'm sorry, I know it was not popular, but I did like the Josh Whedon version because I do like that humor, and that's what I liked about Buffy. Anyway, before we get into Star Wars Day, may the fourth be with you, and talk all about Star Wars. I'm just happy to have my voice back somewhat because my voice was really
Yeah, me too.
cracking this morning, and now it's feeling better. I've been doing fluids and things all day, so hopefully a little squeaky, but I'll get through. Excuse me as I cough. But we're going to go to some pop culture news and get that going right quick.
All right. So the 2025 nominees came out for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
And still no Tina
So,
Marie, but okay.
wow, you.
I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know if she's had the hit credibility to.
Well, it's not all hits. There are people in there that haven't had like bona fide hits. But I'm telling you, she had a career that spanned decades. And again, it might not have hit the pop charts, only maybe with Lover Girl, but for the R&B charts for which she contributed. And if you count in all the songs that she's been, like she didn't get a Grammy till, posthumously because again, Beyonce was using her track on a song and won a Grammy. So Fugees, all these people, because they used her music in their track. So if it's good enough to be ooh la 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 in the back of your music, it's good enough for the Hall of Fame. But I digress. I'm sorry. Did I just go on a rant? I think I might have. I think I went there. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll come back to the real world. All right. Anyway,
You notice I shut up and let you do that soapbox. I let you. Like I just said, look, I'm gonna let her soapbox on this one because I know how strong she feels about Tina Marie. So the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominee, the inductees rather, Bad Company, Chubby Checker, who I thought was already in,
come on,
Joe
baby.
Crocker,
Joe Crocker.
who was another person I thought was already in.
I thought he would be in.
Yeah, I thought he was already in. Cyndi Lauper, Outkast.
Okay. I'm sorry. You can put Cyndi Lauper in, who I love Cyndi, but really, how many albums has she had? And again, the first one was amazing. She's so unusual. I'll give it time after time. She has the hits. But I'm sorry, body of work, I still go with Lady T. But go ahead. And Outkast. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Woo. I still think Tina needs to be in the Hall of Fame, but okay.
Andre 3000 is revered as one of the best 5 rappers out there, period. Andre 3000, Big Boy is a force of his own too, but Andre 3000 is like up there, with main rappers. Like when people say who are the best rappers of all time, somebody's gonna say Andre 3000.
Okay.
Soundgarden
I
and the
can get
White
behind that.
Stripes.
And the White Stripe. And again, I still say there's
I've
got to
never
be
heard
room
of
for
any White
Tina, but
Stripes
all right, yeah, because it's not all rock and roll. And if you want to go rock and roll, just look at the Emerald City album with Stevie Ray Vaughan playing guitar, and I'm just sorry. Oh, you know what? She also did a track with Lenny Kravitz. Since day one, I'm telling you, y'all need to discover some Tina Marie. That's all I gotta say. I'm sorry. I got to get some. Let's go to some of these comments before I go off on another tangent. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, that was back when we were talking about Gail Gadot as the first Wonder Woman. It's usually hit makers or influencers or whoever you have to pay. It's probably like that. The Walk of Fame, because basically that's just something you pay for. Although Tina does have a star on the Walk of Fame, so she did get that. Not sure the White Stripe should be in there yet. I know, because don't you have to have
I don't think I've ever listened to the White Stripes.
15 years or or is it 20 years? I don't know. It seems like they're too new. But again, a lot of these bands, like again, when you think the 80s were already like, 40 years ago, it just makes you
Yeah,
feel old.
Outkast has been around for a while, so I'm going to give Outkast the next. Okay, so next we have, speaking of music,
Mm-hmm.
Barbara Streisand released a new album of duets.
Aha.
Secret, The Secret of Life, Partners, Volume 2. She plans on having Paul McCartney, Bob Dylan, James Taylor, Sting, um, Hauser rather, Sam Smith, Seal, Josh Corbin, and Tim McGraw. Also, there's going to be a track on there with Mariah Carey and Ariana Grande.
Ariana Grande. Okay. I'm sorry.
Next in the news, we have Kerry Washington is rebooting Desperate Housewives on Wisteria Lane with 6 new neighborhood frenemies.
Ooh. Now
I
I
don't
know.
I don't know if we need this. I like Kerry Washington. I don't know if this is something we need. Like, let's get some fresh ideas. I'm tired of reboots of old shows and them not really making it. Like, let's get like when it did How I Met Your Father as a
Mhm.
sequel to How I Met Your Mother. Like, I'm like, yeah, they had a couple of people from How I Met Your Mother on there, but it was like still like,
I think we're at a point where there are no fresh ideas, and where there are fresh ideas, they're not happening necessarily on network television. It's on some of the streaming shows. So, like, with your Apple TV and things like Severance. So we're not seeing that spark of fresh energy and ideas
yeah,
coming
no, not
from
at all,
no.
not a little
So
bit.
they're kind of going back to saying, okay, what worked, what got people before, but I don't know whether I know the first Desperate Housewives I did watch quite a bit, the first season, but then they kind of lost me. So, and I don't know, I think we're reaching a time and a space where I think comedies might start to thrive. And I have a feeling reality TV shows are going to go by the wayside, because as we hit a recession and tough
I would
economic
love to see that.
times, I think people are going to need to laugh more, and we're going to see more of that. But
We
we'll
don't need to
see.
see reality shows of rich people walking around doing rich people things because we all poor.
Lifestyles of the rich and famous. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need to see that. Next on our news, we got sad news. Ruth Buzzy passes away at 88.
Mm.
Ruth Buzzy, some of you guys don't know who she is. Some of the older Gen X people, we do know Ruth Buzzy from Laugh-In, Hee Haw, and other variety shows. She was very funny. She's a very funny actress. She did the old lady thing, and it was so hilarious.
And there was a lot of online tributes from like Goldie Hawn, and I think
Yes.
Nancy Sinatra posted one I saw on social media. Just people again acknowledging her talent. And then if you even think about Laugh-In, because that was this kind of edgy show before there was a Saturday Night Live, Not Ready for
Yeah.
Primetime Players. They were actually doing some of that edgy political and sexual innuendo humor
Yeah.
like on prime time. So
And they
again,
had Goldie Hawn. Back when Goldie Hawn was really sexy and young, she was up there twitching around, and she was wasn't she the Sock It To Me girl?
yeah,
Yeah. Sock It To, because they even had, I think one time back in the day, they had Richard Nixon on there going, Sock It To Me.
yeah, he did make an appearance, I believe,
Yeah.
on Laugh-In.
You know. You can get see, back then, Republicans weren't that bad. They were a little cool because Richard Nixon was like, Sock It To Me. And you, can you can you see any of the Bushes doing that? Can you see? Well, Donald Trump would do it, and it would be the best. It would be the best. It would be the best ever Sock It To Me you ever heard.
And he probably do it in a Pope outfit.
So, but yeah, the Sock It To Me girl. But yeah, Ruth Buzzy was on that, and it was a lot of character actors back then who did variety shows like Ruth Buzzy. Who was the guy that was on Art Johnson, Ruth Buzzy, and Tim Conway. They were like really
Larry
good
Storch, was
character
he on
actors.
there? I think
Who?
Larry Storch, or I can't
I
think of
don't
all.
know.
I can't think of all the
He might
different
be.
players. Joanne Worley.
Yo, Joanne Worley. Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
It was a time. It was a time.
It was time. It was a time. It was a time. Is she still alive?
Who?
Joanne Worley.
I don't know. I don't know, and I'm not going to say because I don't want to get in trouble for trying to kill somebody off.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. Goldie Gold Goldie Hawn was the Sakatumi girl. Yeah,
yeah, she was.
but but it was from the Laugh-In episodes. Laugh-In, and yeah. Anyway,
Yes, Joanne Worley is 87 years old and she is still with us.
okay, all right.
And our next bit of news is I'm gonna put something together this week because we're definitely looking for someone to do our announcing for us and do the announcement that we record and have come on because we need somebody to say Sunday. And what better way to do a contest to see who can come up with the best stuff? You know, any actors, any voice people who can come in and say, hey, you know, I could do this, and you send me, you send us rather the best voiceover, and we'll give you a script, and and we'll take the best one, and we'll use that every week. We'll give you a shirt, and I'll figure something else out to give to you. I don't know.
Okay, so that is the announcement for the contest because we are still using the voiceovers that I got from Music Radio Creative, and our old show was called Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture, and it just says, Kathy and Kenny, but it says Saturday night, which we did for years during the pandemic because we were in a pandemic. We weren't going anywhere. And now that Saturday night has gotten busier, we kind of switched to Sunday nights. We used to do it at 9, but then we realized we got to get up and go to work on Mondays. So we moved it to 8. And besides, Game of Thrones was just, we just lost everybody to Game of Thrones. Anyway, so tonight, Kenny, if you can give some insight about what we'll be talking about, or what you'll be talking about, because you know more than me.
Okay, well, I don't know as much as I should know, but tonight, well, today is May the 4th, and as you all know, that is Star Wars May the 4th be with you day. It's a Star Wars day, and we are going to talk about Star Wars. We're going to talk about the movie. We're not going to get into all the different cartoons and TV shows and everything, because you know what? We only got an hour.
You know what? If
So
you
we're going to
go,
talk about some of the movies. Actually, there's like 9, 10, 11 movies. So we're going to mention all the 11 movies, prequels, the sequels, the main ones, and the one movie that I think is the best Star Wars movie. And then also, as far as TV shows, we all know The Mandalorian was great and everybody loved it. I've never seen Andor, and I'm going to tell you why. So let's get into it, talking about Star Wars. And if you have any comments on Star Wars, anything you want to know about Star Wars, we also have some hidden gems about Star Wars behind the scene things. So let's get into it.
let's get into it. And I do have to confess that I watched and I did watch a couple of these, but my Star Wars knowledge is rusty. And I know Disney Plus has a whole section, like they have a Marvel section, they have a Pixar section, they have a whole Star Wars section, and it is
Yes.
a rabbit hole you can dive deep into. And I know you wanted to just focus on the movie, so I wasn't sure where you wanted to start.
Well, let's talk about the three sets of trilogies.
Okay.
Of course, everyone loves the original trilogy with 4, 5, and 6, The New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. Because when you talk about those, when you talk about Star Wars, those are the movies that you are referencing. Those are the movies you are quoting. those are the movies that are, those are movies that you remember more than anything. The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith. The only thing usually people talk about with these movies is that, Jar Jar Banks was like the worst character in Star Wars ever. And, the one thing people take away from it is like the high ground is never going to get you anywhere. Because that's when Ben Kenobi cut off Anakin's legs and his arms and everything, and that's how he turned into Darth Vader. Because Ben Kenobi defeated him, and Ben Kenobi said to Anakin, "You're not going to win. I had the ground, and you're on high ground, and you're not going to win." And he told him, and Anakin was kind of arrogant, and he thought he could beat everybody. And Ben Kenobi showed him why he was the master, and Anakin was the Padawan. The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker rather, they were okay. To me, they were okay. There was a lot of things that were done wrong with it. One of the things you couldn't help in Rise of Skywalker is that um, um, Princess Leia had passed away in real life. What was her name? Why did I forget her name?
Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher passed away in real life, so they had to, do some things with that movie. I think to edit it out the different, I think that last franchise was made to kill off Luke, Leia, and Solo, Han Solo, because that's basically what those movies did. My son and I always joke in those movies because in the Rise of Skywalker, when they're going down in the pit and they're going down in like quicksand, the guy says, there's something I need to tell you, Ren, I gotta tell you. And then they get down there and they find out they're okay. She goes, "What you need to tell me?" And you think it's this great plot point, and he's gonna tell her he loves her or something like that, or he's gonna tell her something. He goes, "Never mind." And that was it. They just you, you're sitting there looking, huh?
You're waiting for something big and nothing
Yeah, you're
really
waiting for something.
happens.
You're about to die, and you tell this woman there's something I need to tell you. And then when you live, and she goes, "What do you need to tell me?" He goes, "Nothing. Never mind."
Never mind. Yeah, it's okay.
I just the worst writing ever. But the New Hope Empire said, "I am your father." He cuts his arm off and cuts his hand off rather, and the whole thing when he finds out that Leia is really his sister, and
Oh
that's
wait,
the
that
girl that
wasn't
kissed him earlier in the movie.
that wasn't that was A New Hope? That was the first movie. I mean the
No,
first movie that
no. Empire Strikes Back was when he cut his hand off and told me he was his
Okay,
father.
all right. Yeah, I was like, wait, we didn't get
Because
that in
Return of the Jedi is when he went to Yoda and said, "Hey Yoda, is that yeah, that's your father." And then Ben Kenobi came as a ghost and said, "Yeah, I had to whoop his ass, and that's what happened." And yeah, it's your dad. Like, and no time Luke say, "Wait a minute, y'all knew that was my dad, and y'all ain't say nothing, and you knew Leah was my sister." Man, I'd have killed the master for that. But anyway, um, now they did some prequels to these movies. Solo, which I watched, and that is 2 hours I'll never get back.
Oh, that's brutal.
You did find out about the parsec run or whatever he did on that one. You did find out how that legend came about. Um, Rogue One. Now, here's what I like. Now, Rogue One was a prequel that was done, and it was supposed to be right before Leia got the plans. Like this is how this is when Leia gave the plans to R2D2 and escape because Darth Vader was coming on her ship And this is that story there and those plans. And when they say in Star Wars New Hope, a lot of people died to get these plans. So you know Rogue One, you know they're all doomed. You know they're doomed. And spoiler alert, if you've never seen Rogue One,
I watched it this
the
afternoon.
ending was so epic. You had this crew of people, everybody in that picture, you had this crew of people who were trying to do something heroic. And they weren't all really heroes like that. And they all worked together. And sometimes when they first met, they, one of those things, they didn't even like each other, didn't trust each other. But they all worked together heroically. And they all died together.
Mm.
Everybody. And then they came out with the prequel of Andor. Now, I didn't watch Andor for one reason alone, and that's because this guy died so heroically. Why are you telling a story about what he did before that? I don't care about that. The way this man, the way Rogue One was put up, and the way this man sacrificed his life, I don't need to see the prequel. That's kind of like I was telling Kathy. That's kind of like Thelma and Louise. Do you really need a prequel to that? No. Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid. Do you need a prequel? No. Set it off. Do we need a prequel? No. These movies that you can't make again because the ending was so epic. There should not be a prequel. Like leave it alone. Totally leave it alone. And I think with the show Andor, Disney Plus trying to add to the Star Wars universe and whatnot, it's just too much. Now they hit gold when they did Mandalorian. Mandalorian was great. Even Ashoka was great, but Andor, I had to do a hard pass on it.
Hard pass, hard pass. But before we dive into more of your thoughts and impressions on the movies, and I see your list of notes on different Star Wars facts and all things. May the 4th be with you. I wanted to take a minute to thank you guys for hanging out with us here on a Sunday night. You can connect with us on our website, kathyandkenny.com, kathyandkenny.com. You can also find us in those spaces where you listen to podcasts, as well as on Who's Got Next Radio. We thank you for hanging out with us. If you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing, giving us that thumbs up. We appreciate you, and we thank you so much for being here. All right, ups. I caught you while you were.
I'm sorry, I'm pouring my Pepsi. Not sponsored, by the way. So Pepsi, if you're listening, hey, give us a call. It's
Not sponsored.
okay.
I know. I need something to drink
There
now
you
because
go.
it's getting warm in my studio.
Really? Okay.
Okay.
So let's talk about some behind the scenes things that you probably didn't know. Some of them you probably do know. George Lucas and Steven Spielberg did not go to premiere of Star Wars of the New Hope.
Of the first movie? Were they
Nope.
nervous? Or they just.
Probably, but they tried to calm those nerves because they went on vacation together. They probably took their families and went on vacation.
And just missed the premiere altogether.
This is preview. Like you don't want it's like, if you ever seen the scene in Singing in the Rain when they made the bad movie in the beginning and people walk out and they're sitting there in the raincoats and the hood hiding and people walk out, oh, that's the worst movie I've ever seen. And they, Gene Kelly and Donald they had to hear that and they're like, oh man, we can't show our faces in the morning. I guess they didn't want like if it failed, they didn't want that. So they went on vacation.
Wow. Just skip the party. I would have
Yeah,
I don't know. You think they got so much invested in it that they would be there, that they would show up. But hey,
It
if
might have
they
been
were
one of those things. They
nervous,
worked so long and so hard on this
yeah,
that they put the
labor of
product out
love.
there like, you know what? It's out. Let me walk away because I need to be on Star Wars. I need to be on Earth. Chewbacca was
Hmm.
inspired by George Lucas's dog, which is an Alaskan Malamute, which I do not know the name of that dog, but that the dog inspired the character Chewbacca.
Okay, cool, cool. Oh, Scooby Life would love that. She would
Yoda,
know about that.
yeah, well, yeah. Yoda was originally envisioned as a monkey.
Uh-huh. I see that.
So yeah, well, I like the alien creature better than having just a monkey on there. I like the idea of an alien creature.
Well, I think pop culture got tired of monkeys after the monkey and Friends. After Marcel, we were like, okay, we're done with monkeys. I was right there with Ross with David
Well,
Schwimmer.
at the time, it was the '80s, so Clint Eastwood was doing
Oh, that's right.
movies.
Every which way but loose. Yeah.
Every which way you can, every which way but
And
loose,
you
and they
know
had the
which franchise
chimpanzee.
never really appealed to me? Like, not even the
I
original.
think I
Was
probably saw
Planet of the
one.
Apes. I just never got it.
Yeah, I think I saw one.
I think I saw the original one, you know. And again,
It was
it because I think the appeal was the twist at the end when you're thinking, oh, it's another planet or another time or whatever. But oh no,
yeah.
that's here and now, huh?
That's here
Or
now. That's Earth.
not? That's Earth, rather. Yeah, it's not another planet.
That's Earth in the future, man. We done messed everything up.
Oh yeah,
Um, did you see the new Planet of the Apes? I haven't seen the new movies, but
no.
then they reset it, and James Franco was in the first one. I seen that one, but after that, I just
Mm-mm.
it's like I don't see Godzilla movies either. I don't,
I know Godzilla movies don't appeal to me too. I'm
yeah,
not that nerdy, and like even I'm more Star Trek than Star Wars, so there's that. So I'm probably not a very good pop culture kid on this topic. I apologize.
yeah. We'll take your pop culture card later. Um, Harrison Ford is very well known. Harrison Ford wanted to be killed off in Empire Strikes Back.
Mm,
So when he gets caught and he goes on the ice thing and all that kind of stuff, I think he wanted to die in that. But they brought him back for the next movie anyway. And I guess that's one of the coolest scenes in in Star Wars history, The Empire Strikes Back, where he's about to, Darth Vader's about to put him in the little thing, and he looks at it and goes, she looks at him and goes, "I love you," and he goes, "I know." Boom, and they drop him down. Like, dude, how cool are you?
oh, Harrison
Like when they
Ford is the
unfreeze
man in those
me, it is
movies.
corn like popcorn. When they unfreeze me, you gonna get it, all of it. Like I know, I'll be waiting here. They're gonna freeze me up, but when they unfreeze me,
It's on.
it's on. It's on. Now here's a story that I knew coming in for this door, and I remember hearing the story a few times. When Star Wars came out, it was a virtually unknown movie. George Lucas wasn't George Lucas,
Right.
and they did Comic Cons, they advertised, and nobody knew about this movie. I guess they didn't have a big promotional budget, and back in those days, things weren't promoted the way they are now.
Right.
Because we got internet, we got all this social media, we got every, so it's every, we got, before we had like you only had 12 TV channels. Now you got 300 or some TV channels, and there's going to be an advertisement everywhere. They did Comic Cons back then, and back then Comic Cons weren't what they are now. One of the
Right.
big explosions thing. I remember going to a Comic Con when I was a teenager 40 years ago, and my dad taking me and was like, "There's nothing but like guys in long coats, guys in long undercoats, like looking very shady, walking around, and a bunch of kids walking. It doesn't look, but they was like, yeah, this look kind of freaky, man. I don't. But now it's a big thing. But it used to be Comic Con used to be a thing where it was just a bunch of books and you going through a bunch of books, and then Comic Con became a thing where they had people They had books, and some Comic Cons they had books. They had people like B-list stars and things like that.
You keep
They,
rocking back and forth. I'm like,
I'm
where's it
sorry, yeah,
going?
that's me being old. They had B-list stars and things like that because I remember meeting Aaron Gray from Buck Rogers,
Oh yeah, Buck Rogers. Yeah.
and I met the guy who played Boomer on Battlestar Galactica.
Boomer from Battlestar Galactica. I don't remember him. I don't remember
The
the real
black, the
actor's
only black
name.
guy in there, the one in the '70s.
All right, I'll
Anyway,
look it up.
so Mark Hamill, right before Star Wars came out, which I believe was '76 or something like that, Mark Hamill was at a Comic Con, and no one knew who he was. Like that time next year, he was going to be this huge star. Uh, he was sitting at his first Comic Con alone, with people just passing him by because they knew nothing about Star Wars. And it became this big, and then like in 6 months, it became this big phenomenon. But can you imagine Mark Hamill sitting at this table at a Comic Con? And like it's Star Wars, and back in those days, like, and people just walking by, just not even paying them no mind. So that was it. Now, when we talk about Mark Hamill, there's a scene in Empire Strikes Back where he gets hit by the monster and everything. He looks a little different, a little harder. Between making A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, the actor Mark Hamill was in a serious car accident, which luckily did not affect his teeth at all. But his face was scarred, and he had to get some work done and change the look in his, I guess, his face, and it didn't affect his, they were surprised it didn't affect his teeth, but it affected his nose and that kind of thing. So in the beginning of Empire Strikes Back, he has a mask on, he has a helmet on most of the time and the glasses, but then he's walking through the snow and everything. Of course, he's covered up, but he goes and he gets hit by the snow monster, and that's how they explain how Mark Hamill looks a little bit different from here on out,
Mm.
because he had to get work done because the car accident he was in was so bad.
Oh wow, I didn't know that story.
Yeah, yeah. So they try to play it off like it wasn't a big deal, but there's an interview with Carrie Fisher's like, yeah, that was a big deal. That was a big,
Wow.
like, they try to say they didn't have him get hit by a snow monster. That wasn't the reason that they had him. But she said, oh yeah, I remember when they added that scene in because he had a different look to him. And then Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, he was a little bit more serious than A New Hope. He was like this fun kid, like with a lightsaber, like just learning and being all excited and shooting the gun and blowing up the Death Star. He was like this energetic kid, and ready for adventure and ready for action. But at Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, he got a little bit more serious, and his looks were a little bit more serious. And one of the reasons is because of that car accident, and they had to do some changes to his looks.
Wow, that's pretty intense.
Yeah.
But that I guess that happens in a lot of movies where they have to make some changes and usually cast changes or even change parts of the plot because
Yeah.
of what happens in real life, and especially when people pass away. But
It's like I'm sure they did the same thing um with Fast and Furious.
oh yeah, definitely with the
When
with
he
the death
died,
of Paul Walker. Mm.
When Paul Walker passed away, they had to use his brother in some digital stuff
Mm-hmm.
in order to do some scenes that his character might have been in. And it kind of looks kind of obvious, like at the end where he's playing at the beach with his wife and kid, and they don't really close up on him at all. He's shown from a distance playing.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of know.
Yeah. Well, I think
So
yeah. By then everybody knew going into the movie anyway, so it was just kind
yeah,
of like
you already knew, and they didn't kill the character off. So let's see what they do in this next Fast and Furious, which I'm eagerly waiting for. because
That'd be just you.
I'm a big Fast and Furious fan.
Oh, oh, we
Except
know.
for Tokyo Drift, I've never seen Tokyo Drift, but all the other
Did you
ones
see
with
the other
Paul
one,
Walker and
Hobbs
Vincent.
and
Oh yeah, I saw Hobbs and Shaw.
Hobbs and Shaw? Okay,
Hobbs and Shaw. I saw
so
Hobbs and Shaw.
you are well versed.
Sometimes I like The Rock in certain movies.
Okay, you can take the rock and small pebbles.
But
I can take the rock and small pebbles. Okay. Anyway, go ahead. Go on with your Star Wars talk, 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 talk.
if anybody has any Star Wars talk, Star Wars questions, or let's look at the comments, see what we got going on.
I think we've gone through all the comments. So,
You did?
Tech Troublemaker. I don't know if he's still here. We were talking about Goldie Hawn that was in the news. Oh, he's just letting us know there's some AI tools we might be able to use. So maybe I can pull out some of the AI tools like 11 Labs, which is free. They might be able to
I
do a
think it'd be fun to
voiceover.
use people
Or
and have it
I also
like,
have I have an Epidemic Sound account, and Epidemic Sound is also a great place to find music and different things. So maybe I can see if they can do an AI voiceover for us. I just don't want it to sound AI-y. I saw a post on social media, and it was supposed to be like the history of like Rick James and Tina Marie, and I wanted to listen to it, and I turned on the video, and the first thing I heard was like the AI generated voice, because you know when it says certain words and the words sound so stiff, and you can tell that it is AI. I turned it off. I was like, you know what? Yes, they're legends. Yes, I want to hear their story. But you know what? Let someone tell it to me. Do a voiceover. Is it that hard? I don't think so. I
no,
mean,
now you got
everybody's
AI.
voice might not sound as great as mine, but there's got to be a better way.
Wow. Okay. That's
I'm
really
sorry. Well, I know people have like that. A lot of people who stream and do live shows like we do, they use like the SM7B and it's the greatest mic. But I love my pod mic. I love them so much. Um, I have several of them. See, I'm all pod mic'd up, and you see they have their dock pops on them, so those are pretty cool too. I probably should have a link for dock pops in our description, but they're
Maybe
pretty
I should
cool.
get a pod mic. Maybe I should get a pod mic. Maybe that'll help my sound better.
Okay. Well, I have extras, so when you come down, maybe yeah, you can use one of my pod mics, and but you don't. But I gave you a Rodecaster. You don't even use that, so I'm kind of done giving you stuff. So
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
I'm giving you my scraps. All right. What else do you have on your list of?
And that's pretty much all I have on my list. Now
Well,
I don't
why
have
don't you
all
watch Andor?
because, like I said,
Oh, okay.
it's anticlimactic
All right.
because you've already seen him die very heroically. I don't need to see anything else he did before that. Like that was pretty much definitive
Okay.
of
So
that
it's the
character.
whole idea of it's supposed to be a prequel to what we've
Yeah,
already seen in Rogue One.
it's supposed to be a prequel, and it's like, I never seen it. I heard it was okay. I've heard some people tell me that the first season was, eh. Some people say, oh, that's great, and and then the second season, I've heard people say, eh. So I haven't heard
So
anybody say the second season
if
is
you
great.
if you had to rank them all in order, would you have a ranking for all the movies?
Yes, all
Hmm.
these movies, I would. I would put New Hope first, Rogue One second, followed by Empire and Return of the Jedi.
Hold on for a second. Let me see if I can
Um,
get your rankings right. Okay.
so I put New Hope first, of course. It's the original. You gotta put it first. Rogue One is the second best one. Empire Strikes Back, because that is a very popular one. Of course, Return of the Jedi next. The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith. I'd put them all together next, and then I would put the next Force Awakens, Last Jedi and Rise. Well, you know what? Rise of Skywalker, I thought wasn't that great. So I put that first, and then I put Force Awakens, The Last Jedi. No, Last Jedi next, and then no, I put Force Awakens as the next in line to be good. And you know what? I would do it in this order here: Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker as being one of the worst ones, and then I put Solo at the bottom of the list.
Solo goes at the bottom. I- You know,
Solo goes at the bottom of the
and
list.
I know one of the things Disney does for you is they also give you give you playlists kind of thing, and they also do like a timeline order. But the only thing is they put in all the other stuff,
Yeah, they
like
put it all as yeah.
Andor and like all the other stuff is mixed in there.
Did they put the
So that kind
cartoons
of
in with that
confused
too?
me. I didn't like that.
They put some of the cartoons in with that too, because some of the are
I
serious and they follow that too.
I didn't. I don't know whether they had the cartoons in there. I do.
Because
I
there's
don't
a
think they
couple of
had the
seasons in
cartoons
those,
in. I think. Hmm.
and there's
But
a
do you
couple of
have to watch
seasons
the
in those
cartoons?
cartoons.
Do you have to watch the cartoons to follow the storyline?
Not technically, but it does add to it. When you watch some of the shows like Ahsoka and Mandalorian and some of these other shows that they have on Disney Plus, the cartoon kind of like there were some characters that I didn't recognize in Ahsoka, and George was telling me, "Oh yeah, that was in this and that was in that, and you know this person was in here from there before." And then when the Mandalorian, oh that they were in this, that, and the other, and now they're bringing them to live action. I'm like, okay, so I did, I didn't watch the cartoon, so some things that they explain it in live action, but they did have it in the cartoon first,
Okay.
like where that character come from. Because to you, you see this character for the first time if you've never seen the cartoon. You know, okay.
Okay.
It's a large universe, a very large universe.
It's a big, big, big world of Star
And,
Wars,
and my
and
grandson Milo is a big Darth Vader fan, and I said, but he's the bad guy. I know, but he chokes people with his hands, and I'm like, okay.
I hope you weren't showing him Star Wars when his parents weren't allowing him to see that yet.
So on to the show. No, his parents. He knew everybody that was on my shirt. His parents let him watch Star Wars.
Okay. All right. You weren't
I wasn't
exposing him
going
to
to
something a little
college.
prematurely. Because are some of the movies not rated PG-13? I'm just wondering. Or they're not all rated G. Like A New Hope might have been.
They're already P-13.
They're
They're all
rated
PG.
PG or
Just
PG-13.
PG. No,
Okay.
PG.
All right.
It might be PG-13. PG-13. Could it be rain? Could it be snow? All depending on the weather. My
How did
grandson
you?
knows who Star. Milo knows Star Wars. He
He knows.
knows who the characters are. Luke, Han, Leia. You know, he knows Yoda, Baby Yoda,
Oh, babe.
Mandalorian.
Well,
Look,
what's the
he's gonna
actual
be a
name for the
nerd like his
character?
father and his grandfather.
You didn't talk about
Uh,
the worst character in the
Grogu.
history of Star Wars.
Oh, I did say that. I did say that's Jar Jar Binks.
Binks,
Binks. Yeah, Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar Binks. Um,
Jar Jar Binks is the worst
why?
character. It's just too clownish.
Okay, it brings
It's
down the
just
whole
too
vibe.
clownish. I'll be
Alright.
no.
So
I just it was like the accent he had was like a bad Italian accent trying to speak American and like a 1930s black actor accent trying to be Stephen Fetcher, and it was like a combination
Amos
of
and
both of
Andy,
them.
Amos and
It's like
Andy
an
in
Amos
space.
and Andy and Louis Prima put together, and you get this. You get this.
This hot
Yo,
mess.
it was a hot yes. No, 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 no. What was the Marx brother? That really talked. Not
Um,
Harpo, not Groucho.
Chico.
Um, Chico. Yeah, it was like you took him and Amos and Andy, and you put the vocals together, and you had Jar Jar Binks,
Fix. Okay.
Jar Jar Binks, which was it's just horrible. I won't watch those movies, The Force Awakens especially, because Jar Jar Binks is so annoying to me.
So complete turn off. Okay.
It grates me. It's like turning on TV and seeing a Taylor Swift concert. It's just my nerves are just so shot.
Hating on Tay Tay. All right. All right. So that is our Star Wars show for the fans. May the fourth be with you. The final verdict, Rogue One, is probably the movie to see. For my money, The New Hope is probably, and again, I just know it as Star Wars because it was the original with the
Yeah.
iconic kind of um, epilogue, kind of telling you the story so far at the beginning of the movie. That whole, in fact, that was so iconic. I think it's even built into some of these filmmaking software like Final Cut Pro, or maybe it's iMovie, where you can actually use that style to intro a video, and um in a land far,
And
far away.
the famous line in that movie, let the Wookiee win.
Let the Wookiee win.
Let
So
the
what are
Wookiee
we
win.
talking about next week, my brother?
Oh, next week, that's what I was trying to pull up. Because I had it here in front of me. And next week we are going to be talking about how good looking Kenny Walker is. That's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing.
That's not what we're
Um,
doing.
okay, I had the list in front of me and I lost it. So, oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. So next week we will be talking about. Bear with me one second. May May the fourth.
It's Mother's Day
Um,
weekend.
okay, so we have two shows coming up, and I'm gonna let you choose. We could do we can do our honor. We can do our flowers show. We give flowers to a living actor, and it was going to be Tom Hanks. So we could talk all about Tom Hanks, or and I like this one, action stars you could be in a bar fight with.
Action stars you can be in a bar fight with.
Yes,
Okay. That's a mouthful. I don't think anybody's
yes,
searching for that on YouTube, but okay.
yes. So action stars that you could be in a bar fight with. So like, would you take Steven Seagal or Claude John Van Damme? John Claude Van Damme.
Okay. Neither, but that's
Would you
just
want
me.
would you want The Rock or would you want
Jason Statham.
yeah, Jason Statham? I
Hmm.
would want The Rock.
Oh wait, am I putting money on that of who would win? Hmm.
No, 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 no. You're in a bar fight.
Okay.
Somebody's got to have your six. Who do you want to have your six?
Oh, okay. Who would I want? Jason Statham.
Over The Rock?
Yeah, I think so. Really? No?
So this will be a good conversation because me and you are going to disagree on a lot here.
Or Keanu. I'd always take Keanu.
No, I would never take Keanu.
I mean, he's John Wick. He's John flipping Wick.
Yeah, John Wick can't go through a room full of people, but I want to beat him up.
He
I don't
is
want to kill him.
Neo in the Matrix. If he's gonna
I
have your
I, I don't want.
back,
I just want to beat him up. I don't want to kill him. John Wick kills everybody.
hey, you gotta win. You gotta win. Let's take a dive into the comments. Have you had a chance to watch Tales of the Underworld yet?
Tales of the Underworld.
Is that a Star Wars?
No, it's not Star Wars.
Oh,
Um,
Bruce Leroy?
Bruce Lee. Oh, Bruce Leroy from the Last Dragon.
Oh.
Show enough.
Oh gosh, whatever happened to
Show
him?
enough.
Oh God.
Why? Show enough. Bruce Leroy. You take Bruce. I don't know if I take Bruce Leroy.
You could take it. He in bad.
It's Star Wars Tales of the Underworld.
Just came out
It
today.
came out today. Is that a book or is that a?
Uh-oh. Go Google it. Go Google it. Well, listen, while you go Google it, I will be trying to think of what action star I want to help me out in my bar fight. Because again, at 60, I'm so likely to be in a bar fight. That's going to hit home. And we just want to thank you guys for hanging out with us as I try to get over this.
Tales of the Underworld is Star Wars. It's a new series that came out today on Disney Plus, and it's animated, and there's only 6 parts to it, and it follows 2 characters that I don't know that well because it's probably from the other cartoons. Or one of the other
So you
shows.
haven't followed any of the Star Wars cartoons?
I really haven't. I wish I had George with me because he has.
Oh, we should have invited him on. He could have helped us out. All right. Well,
Yeah, I've seen enough of George this weekend.
you had your share, George. Well, we have not had our share of you. We thank you so much for hanging out with us on a Sunday night. We are here every single Sunday night talking pop culture news, pop culture topics. Hopefully we'll see you guys next Sunday night. Till then, as always, parting, we wish you love, peace, and pop culture.
God bless your soul and keep living in peace.
Kathy and Kenny here to say, pop culture fun in every way. Music, TV, movies.
Thank you for
so
geeking
bright.
out with Kathy and Kenny on Kathy and
Join
Kenny
us for
Explain
a
Pop
blast
Culture.
tonight. Sister and brother rocking the floor.